Thank you, Ted Henley. Former Calgary Police Chief Rick Hanson firing back, defending a decision he made that has now led to an investigation by the Alberta Serious Incident Response Team. The police watchdog typically probes police-involved shootings, while now the ASIRT investigation focusing on the circumstances surrounding the deployment of nearly 24 Calgary police officers. The issue, the allocation of 22 officers to District 5 in the city's northeast, whether there was a conflict of interest by the former chief. It's a question of timing. The deployment allegedly happening as Rick Hanson was stepping down as chief. That was in March to run in the provincial election as the PC candidate in the riding of Calgary Cross. Rick Hanson joining us now. It's nice to see you. Unfortunate circumstances, I know, for you. A few days since ASIRT announced its investigation. How are you feeling right now?
Looking forward to talking to them. Can't wait for them to get down here. The reality is that what happened was a project team that consisted of the district commanders, planning analysts, were given the responsibility of putting in a report that looked at the deployment model we're using, resource allocation, boundaries, equalizing workload right across the city, and that happened late 2014. They came forward with a very thorough report about March the 4th. And in that report, they said, we want to realign the districts. We want to make every district smaller except one. District 5 is going to get bigger. And to address that growth and the workload, we need to add 22 officers to give the quality of service to those citizens, address the call load, and not overwork to death the officers that were there.
Right.
So, you know what? Report came to me. I said, this makes too much sense. Asked a few questions. Because it was a transition period, and as Chief Cook has said in his email, he approved it as well. It went after full approval by senior levels of the organization. Goes to the Police Commission less than 2 weeks later, who has complete and full oversight of the police service. I know the presentation was made to them. It's just a rock-solid recommendation, rock-solid decision. And to be honest with you, even knowing all this, if it came to me again, I'd make the same decision, because at the end of the day, it is a rock-solid decision made in the best interests of the police service, the City of Calgary, and the citizens it serves.
Did it ever cross your mind that the timing might be viewed as suspicious? No,
not a bit. I mean, for 40 years, when we get sworn in as police officers, it's an oath to obey the law and do what's best for the community. I reaffirmed that oath 7.5 years ago when I became chief, almost 8 years ago now. So the cap I was wearing was my chief hat. What's best for the citizens of Calgary? What do the officers need out on the street to allow them to do their job better? Was it moral? Was it ethical? Was it legal? Yes, yes, yes. Did it include the next chief, Paul Cook? Yes. Did it go to the Police Commission? Yes. I can't wait to sit down with ASIRT and say, here's the report, here's the paper trail, here's who it went to, here's who approved it, and did it ever come up in the election? Not once. It wasn't in anything I ever brought up. So
you do have the documentation to support this. ASIRT, though, has not contacted you.
No, you know what, and that doesn't surprise me, because they are so busy dealing with super serious issues. I mean, those people, ASIRT, great investigators, they are so committed, but they are so overwhelmed with work. So my worry is that it's going to be a while before they can do the investigation based on priorities. And for 7.5 years, I ran the police service based on openness, transparency, and getting the facts out in front of the community so they could make their own decision. So I'm here getting the facts out in front of the community so they can decide whether this was done to somehow advance my 40 days in politics, or whether it was done in the best interest of the police service. And I can categorically assure you and everybody that it was done in the best interest of policing this community.
Well, you seem very even-keeled now. I know in an interview conducted with the Calgary Sun just a couple of days ago, though, you say you felt ambushed. Where, to your mind, did this come from?
Well, I don't know, to be honest with you, because what surprises me is the Office of the Solicitor General controls the deployment of ASIRT. I don't know why they didn't just say, well, hey, I asked, is there a written complaint? No. Okay, well, what's driving it? And it's apparently some news story that was misrepresented of the facts. So I thought they'd send somebody down to actually review the documentation before they publicly announced an investigation. So that's what surprised me and still surprises me. It would have taken somebody coming down, have a look at the documentation, have a look at the paper trail, and then determine if there's a need to task ASIRT with another investigation. So I'm hoping, it's been almost a week now, nobody from ASIRT's contacted me. I'm really looking forward to that conversation and moving on from there.
Acting Police Chief Paul Cook says that he feels confident that the deployment was the right thing to do, but the referral, to your mind, was that the right thing to do? Well,
like I said, I don't know what they're referring. I mean, the Calgary Police Commission is a civilian oversight body for the Calgary Police Service. I would have thought that it would have been referred to the Police Commission to ask that question. The Police Commission, I would think, because Alderman Diane Colley-Urquhart's been pretty vocal. She said, I've known about this for a long time. So I don't know why they didn't just give it to the Police Commission to do the review, and that would have been done immediately by the appropriate body. However, I don't know the politics behind this at all. When ASIRT comes down, I'd like to ask them to, have a look at a written complaint. I've been told there isn't one, but I'm hoping that there's something there that's launched this investigation. But regardless, I'm really anxious to have that conversation and present the facts and have it supported, because it's a paper trail like everything in the Calgary Police Service. It's documented as to why the decision was made and how the research was done.
Well, I know you're looking forward to putting this behind you and
Thanks.
moving on, and we look forward to see what happens next.
Thank you.
Former Police Chief Rick Hanson, thank you very much for joining us
Thanks
today.
for having me, Tom.